Hey, peanut brain! Surprise! You have a nice day. What's up, everybody? My name is Scott and you're watching Kentucky Ballistics, and today we're going to talk about crossbows. Crossbows are stinking awesome, especially modern crossbows. They're powerful, they're accurate, they're silent, and there are lots of other adjectives. But my question for today's video is, what if you were in a particular scenario, I don't know, like say
the end of the world?
And let's say you've run out of broadheads. What materials could you use to make a suitable functional broadhead so you can keep using your crossbow? Well, today I have several different broadheads made out of several different materials that we're going to try out, and I am very excited to get started, so let's get to it. Good height, just not very much spin. Okie dokie, our test medium today is going to be a 16-inch block of clear ballistic gel. This is a 10% block, and this is made by Clear Ballistics. So first, I'm going to take a shot at this with a standard broadhead so we have a baseline and something to compare to, and then we're going to move on to our homemade broadheads. So the crossbow I'm going to be using today is a 10-point Viper S400. This thing is lean and mean, and I'm loaded up with a standard broadhead. Let's see how far we make it into the gel. Here we go. Woo! All right. It appears we have our broadhead kind of poking out the end there, you know, like when you can't make it home in time. Anyways, that penetrated pretty deep. Yes, that is a really nice, clean wound channel. That's a lot of arrow. Now that we have a good baseline, let's move on to the homemade broadheads. So our first homemade broadhead is going to be made out of deer antler. First, we're going to test the penetration of these broadheads, and then if they survive, we will test their accuracy. Okay, let's see what happens. Here we go. Oh! So, someone forgot to hit the slow-mo camera. So guess what that means? There's now a job opening at Kentucky Ballistics. We went through the whole block just like the modern broadhead. And I have to say I'm pretty surprised. I know that I'm stupid close to this thing, but I still thought that that would penetrate a lot less than the modern broadhead. What's wild is it's not really damaged either, even after hitting the table. Okay, since the antler broadhead survived, I have it loaded up again, and now we're about 25 yards back, and I'm going to see if I can hit that punching bag. Okay, here we go. So this punching bag does not have a lot in it. It actually is pretty light, so we completely blew through it. I was aiming here, and we hit right there, blew completely through it, and now we're over here in the dirt, and that thing held up pretty good. It's still looking pretty good. So up next, I have a rather interesting broadhead. This is a 3D printed broadhead made with PLA. I'll be very curious to see if this thing holds up. Now don't forget this time, or you're gonna get it. All right, here we go. I went pretty deep too, but it did not go as deep as the other broadheads. I am blown away that that did not break. It's poking out the end a little bit, but it still did not penetrate as deep as the modern broadhead and the antler broadhead. Okay, well, it does look like our tip broke off, But all in all, it held up pretty well. 3D printed broadhead survived our test. So now let's see if it's any accurate. I'm gonna aim in the same spot. Here we go. So that time I actually hit exactly where I was aiming. Did not have any drop. Zipped right through the bag. And then we are right here in the dirt. And that thing is still holding up. But my bolt, not so much. So our next broadhead is made out of stone. This is very old school, and I am very curious to see if it's able to cut through the block like the other broadheads. Okay, here we go. Ooh. That did make it pretty far into the block. It's actually poking out of the end all the way. All of these are pretty impressive so far. That broadhead is still looking pretty darn good. Okay, now let's see how accurate the stone arrowhead is. Here we go. I'm going to aim in the same spot again. So again, I was aiming right here, and it looks like we hit in that general area, just a little to the right this time. We zipped right through the punching bag, and we were over here in the dirt. And that thing looks pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with these so far. Okay, we're gonna have to change out these blocks. That one had been shot about, I don't know, 4 or 5 times. Now we have us a nice clean block for our remaining homemade broadheads. So this next one I am very excited to try out. This is pure silver. Talking 99.999999999% pure. And I know what some of you are gonna say, Scott, looks like you defaced currency. You're going to jail. It was a bullion coin, okay? So get your panties out of a wad. This one is quite a bit heavier than all of the other broadheads. So I'll be very curious to see how far it makes it into the block, but I'll be even more curious to see if we can actually hit anything with it. Here we go. Oh. Stopped just shy of the 16-inch block. I figured with more weight, it would have pushed it further. That is 100% A-okay. So now let's see how accurate the silver broadhead is. And you may be asking yourself, what is the point of using pure silver? Well, in case of werewolves, duh. Okay, gonna aim in the same spot. Here we go. So I figured with the silver broadhead and it being so much more dense, we would have quite a bit of drop. But looks like I hit right here. I mean, I'm aiming right there, and we hit just a little to the right. Went through the punching bag again, and then here we are in the dirt, and it looks pretty good. Well, actually, the tip is very slightly bent, but I'm not surprised because it's silver. So we had a broadhead for werewolves. Now we have one for vampires. This is a wooden broadhead, and this is made out of walnut. As you can see, it is quite a bit longer and thinner than the other designs. So I'll be curious to see how far this penetrates and just how accurate it is. Here we go. Oh, wow. We did not make it all the way through. Kind of curved upward. And we are missing a little chunk. But that still penetrated pretty deep. Okie dokie, let's see how accurate this thing is. Gonna aim in the same spot again. I think he's dead. Okay, so I was aiming here. We hit a little high and to the left. And for the first time, we did not make it all the way through the punching bag. Oh. Wow, that bolt is still holding up. And as for our broadhead, it is a little more jagged and a little more dull. So out of everything we've shot so far today, I'm gonna say that walnut is losing. So up next is one of our more interesting broadheads today. This one is made out of copper. It is very thin, but this thing is pretty darn sharp. So I'm very curious to see how much it penetrates, and then I'm also very curious to see if it will fly straight. Here we go. Oh, wow, okay. Oh my gosh, it broke, it bent. It is bent straight up. Wow, okay, so that is our first true failure today. I guess the copper was too thin and a little too flexible, and when it hit that gel, it just stuck it straight up in the air. Nope, we are free. Okay, use my handy dandy micro tech here. We'll just cut into the top part of the gel. All right, look at that. So there is no point in trying to fire this at the bag because there's no way it's gonna make it over there. So let's move on to our next broadhead. Our next broadhead is made out of plastic. This is actually Delrin, and this thing seems pretty stout. I have high hopes for it. Here we go. Oh! Okay, we may have went next to a previous wound channel, but we still did not make it all the way through the block. The tip is slightly chipped. Now let's see how accurate the Delrin is. Here we go. So this time, it looks like we missed the bag completely. I was aiming in the same spot, just like every other shot, but this time we went so far to the left that we missed the bag completely, and it's buried in the dirt, and it's in there a lot deeper than all the others, and we are missing our tip. So our last homemade broadhead for today's video is a lead broadhead. This one definitely weighs the most, so I'm very curious to see how far it penetrates, and will it deform in the gel, and will it fly accurately? Okie dokie, here we go. Oh! That did not make it all the way through the block, but it still made it pretty deep. And it doesn't look like the lead really deformed much at all. Still looks pretty good. The tip isn't even very deformed. Okie dokie. Here we go. Lead broadhead. Oh, we hit it. Okay, so we did have some drop, but nowhere near as much as I thought we would. Again, I'm aiming right here, so we were pretty low and to the right. We made it through the bag, and we are here into the dirt, not very far into the dirt. And surprisingly, the tip is only bent a little bit. So there's one last thing I want to do with this lead broadhead. I want to know what would happen if we hit something really hard with it, like an AR 500 steel plate. How much is it going to deform, and is the entire arrow going to explode? Okay, here we go. So I am not really sure where I hit. I don't think we're moving fast enough to really do any damage to this plate, but we 100% did some damage to our broadhead. It is completely gone, and surprisingly, this bolt, well, no, rip that off, but other than that, it's in pretty good shape. Well, that's going to be it for today's video. Let me know what you thought about the homemade broadheads, and let me know which one you thought was the most effective in the comment section down below. I got me a new toy, a giant Kentucky Ballistics monkey wrench. Now, as you can see here, we are anti-matte, and then on this side, we have the Kentucky Ballistics logo. Be sure and give today's video a like, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure and check me out on all other social media platforms. Links to those can be found in the description down below, along with a link to KentuckyBallistics.com, just in case you want to pick up a shirt. And as always, my name is Scott. Thank you so much for watching Kentucky Ballistics. I'll see you next time. Oh, I like this thing. Oh, yeah, it's pretty nice.